And the Rangers are champions of the American League West.
Sun shining brightly in the Lone Star State. What a great crowd here in Arlington, Texas. Game day has finally arrived for the much anticipated rematch between the Toronto Blue Jays, the wild card winners, and the team with the best record in the American League, the Texas Rangers. This American League Division Series coverage on TBS is presented by T-Mobile. And the prologue to this rematch, the Bautista bat flip heard round the postseason last year, and the Rugi right hook heard round baseball this year. And as expected, the loudest boos by these Ranger fans came down on Jose Bautista as he was introduced. He's been great in the postseason. He's downplayed the moment. He's ready to get this division series started. And Rougned Odor, the loudest ovations for the 22-year-old second baseman, had a monster year, hit 33 home runs. And that sets the stage for us here this afternoon. And hi, everybody. We welcome you from the Lone Star State. Great to have you with us. I'm Brian Anderson, along with Joe Simpson and the Hall of Famer Dennis Eckersley. So looking forward to this matchup. It is game one. And I guess the first question, Eck, as we look at all that has gone on preceding this series, is the bad blood going to spill over to this best of five?
Well, I'll tell you what, you can't tell me the Texas Rangers didn't care who they played in the first round. That was a lie. They wanted the Toronto Blue Jays badly. The way it happened last year, 2 games up on them, and then they lose the series with the bat flip and all that. Earlier this season, they sort of settled that issue, you could say. But going forward, I don't know if there's going to be anything silly that happens in this playoff series. I don't think so. Everybody wants the World Series, and that's what's on their mind.
Well, obviously the rematch had a lot to do with last year. Texas was dying to get to this series, Joe, but if you look at these two teams, the way they match up, there's plenty of firepower, there's plenty of star power, and a number of players who have performed well in the clutch.
They may not like each other, Brian, but they are a lot alike. They have a lot of thunder in each lineup. They've both got good pitching. The Blue Jays led the American League in ERA, but if you talk to people around baseball, they think that the Texas Rangers have the best 1-2 punch in a short series, and that's Hamels, who goes today, and Darvish, who goes tomorrow. We'll see what happens.
Well, on the pitching front, the Toronto Blue Jays have some problems at the back end of their bullpen. Roberto Osuna left the wild card game. Now, he's on the active roster. Whether he'll pitch or not is another story. Our reporter is Matt Weiner, and he's got more on this story. Matt.
Yeah, B.A., the Blue Jays closer is a huge question mark here for game one. John Gibbons said he should be available for tomorrow's game two. Today is an uncertainty. You'll recall he left that wild card game in the 10th inning with a shoulder issue he described as a big stretch in the shoulder. If he can't go today, Gibbons said the closer position is, quote, up in the air. One of his options, 39-year-old Jason Grilli, who has one career postseason save, that back in 2013 with the Pittsburgh Pirates.
And pitched very well in the wild card game. Thank you, Matt. We're ready to play ball. Game one of the American League Division Series. The Blue Jays, the Rangers. Lineups, first pitch coming up.
This 2016 ALDS telecast on TBS is brought to you by the Lincoln Motor Company and the exhilarating new Lincoln MKZ. By Samsung Pay. Turn your phone into your wallet. By Axe, find your magic. And by Bank of America.
What a great scene from up above Globe Life Park in Arlington, Texas. And it is hot here, folks. It feels like the middle of the summer as we hit October baseball. Let's take a look at John Gibbons' Toronto Blue Jays batting order. Devin Travis leads away. Josh Donaldson, then Edwin Encarnacion coming off that magical moment in the wild card game. The designated hitter today is Jose Bautista. Russell Martin will catch, then Troy Tulowitzki. And the bottom three for Gibbons Blue Jays is Kevin Pillar. Melvin Upton Jr. gets the call in left with Ezekiel Carrera in right field. And that is the batting order for the Blue Jays that will face game one starter Cole Hamels. And for a scouting report, how about we go to his catcher, all-star Jonathan Lucroy.
The best way I like to say it is Cole can throw any pitch he wants, all 4 of his pitches, fastball, cutter, curveball, changeup, anywhere he wants to. And whenever you can throw 4 pitches anywhere you want to, and any time, any count, that's going to make you, and throw strikes, that's going to make, that makes you an ace quality starting pitcher.
Well, Dennis Eckersley, these two have been a great combo. This matchup between Hamels and Lucroy, pretty high praise from his catcher.
It really is. You talk about 4 pitches anywhere you want. That says it all right there. But Hamels this year, gave him the innings again, won 15 games. He's gone 200 innings 7 years in a row now for them, and hasn't pitched all that well at the end of the season, but he was in the conversation for the Cy Young coming into September.
The defense for the Texas Rangers, solid, good outfield. Gomez, Desmond, and Chu, good arms, all 3, but Desmond has a plus arm. Remember, he used to be a shortstop. It really solidified their outfield. Beltre, 4 Gold Gloves. Odor, 22 errors at second base. That's a question mark, but Jonathan Lucroy behind the plate, no errors while with the Texas Rangers.
6-man postseason umpiring crew. Chad Fairchild in his 4th postseason will call the balls and strikes. Lance Barksdale, Sam Holbrook, Hunter Wendelstedt go around the infield. The crew chief, so if we have any challenges, replay reviews, it'll be Joe West, Corey Blazer in right field. 6-man crew and all the pieces put in place. Cole Hamels is ready to go. Devin Travis ready to lead off for Toronto on a 90-degree afternoon here in Arlington. And we're ready for Game 1 of the American League Division Series.
Hamels has had some first inning problems, so given his struggles late in the season, you know this first inning is important to him to get off to a good start.
Finally got a baseball rubbed up perfectly like he wanted it for this first inning, and after the first pitch they authenticate it and then take it out of play. That's when you know you're in the big leagues and on the big stage, right? Little pop-up that is going to drift toward foul territory. The seats, it comes back, and Moreland makes the catch. And that's a perfect segue, Joe, into the conditions here in Arlington today. If you look up above at the top, the wind is blowing in, this south wind coming in, but as it hits the bank around home plate, it actually creates a little bit of a wind tunnel to right field and push this ball back in play.
About 10 to 15 miles an hour blowing in from the south, but not down on the field, it's blowing out.
This is going to be one of those days. It'll be easy to get loose. It'll be easy to fatigue as well. Hot and humid at Arlington. First ball swinging, Josh Donaldson. Blue Jays come out aggressive as usual. They've got a lot of bangers in their lineup.
Well, they've got some guys obviously that leave the ballpark, but they're fairly patient. This Donaldson in particular has walked 109 times this year.
Hamels is such a strike thrower and has been throughout his career, even in the postseason where he's had great success. An aggressive approach is probably the right call, Joe, but it's also a call that could keep Hamels in and out of innings quickly if he's on his game, as Donaldson takes one down and away.
Well, Dennis is right. It's an odd combination. They're 3rd in the American League in homers, but they were 1st in walks and 3rd in on-base percentage. They do strike out a lot, so it's kind of an odd combination.
That one's in there. 2-2 on Josh Donaldson, the reigning MVP. He'll hang on to that title for as long as this postseason is alive. Hasn't been hitting well. He's down in the low 200s. He's at 222 since September 1st. We'll see if the postseason boosts him. It looked like it did in the wild card game. Hamels had him out in front, but Donaldson able to foul it away.
Well, Hamels is going to have to show all these right-handed hitters in, not necessarily for a strike. He did there to Donaldson, but going forward, you got to show him in. But at the same time, you don't want it to get extended. It's just tough. You make a mistake, you pay for it.
Especially down and in.
And the 2-2, Donaldson fouls another one off. We go Donaldson, Encarnacion, Bautista, Russell Martin up and down the lineup. Tremendous power for the Toronto Blue Jays. And to your point, Joe, in the open, it's the same idea. with the Texas Rangers. They have players up and down their lineup, maybe other than Elvis Andrus, who can strike quick with the home run ball. And you have two fly ball pitchers in Cole Hamels and Marco Estrada, who gets a call for the Blue Jays today. And Donaldson off the end of the bat that time.
Well, I liked what Jonathan Lucroy said, and it reminded me of the game you and I were privileged to do, and Roy Halladay threw the no-hitter in the postseason. And it was said that he had 4 pitches working that night, but he actually had 8 because he was using all 4 to both sides of the plate. Hamels is capable of that.
This will be pitch number 8 of the at-bat against Donaldson. 2-2, and Donaldson takes a ball down and in. 3-2 the count.
I mean, it's hard to go out there and have 4 pitches anywhere you want. Those are the games out of 30 starts, maybe 10 of them, right? I mean, you can't have them all the time. If you're going to have them, it would be in the playoffs. That's when you need them.
9th pitch of the at-bat, and that one misses. Ball 4. So a signature at-bat early in this game. A 9-pitch struggle for Cole Hamels results in a walk. Good at-bat by Donaldson that puts a man on for Edwin Encarnacion. Boy, is he living the dream after a postseason moment in the wild card game 2 days ago that he will never forget. 3-run game-winning home run in extra innings to send the Blue Jays into this game 1 of the ALDS. And on the first pitch, he fouls it away.
It's kind of easy when you look at a guy that's got 42 homers and 127 RBIs to say, this is a guy you got to be careful with. But when they've got so much thunder in their lineup, this is definitely the guy you don't want to come up with men on base.
The 4th to do it in a winner-take-all game, that wild card game being the one and done, the elimination game. As Encarnacion pops it up, Hamels got in on his hands. And in the bright sunshine with the glasses on, Rougned Odor puts it away, out number 2.
Boy, good pitch right there to get in on.
And Cole Hamels, as if wanting to extend the boo period, asked for a new baseball.
A standing boo, no less.
You're right, Joe. I've seen standing ovations, but I don't remember many standing boos. Public enemy number 1 as far as baseball is concerned here with Rangers fans. And what a moment he had in the postseason last year. He's been a great performer. He's been one of the guys that has delivered when it counts the most. Jose Bautista in 12 postseason games has 5 home runs and 12 runs batted in, and he homered in the wild card game.
Dennis, you're right about establishing into these right-handers, but he's really got to be careful with this guy because he is pull oriented. He's hunting for the fastball. He'll cheat to get to that fastball in if you miss by even a fraction.
And Bautista gets under one into left field. That is Gomez there, and the top of the first is in the books in Arlington. The Rangers are coming up. In first of our ALDS doubleheader today, Cleveland and Boston will be the second in our matchup. We have the Rangers and the Blue Jays here in Texas, and the batting order for Jeff Bannister's Texas Rangers, back-to-back division champs, with Gomez, Desmond, and Beltran at the top, Beltre, Odor, and Lucroy in the middle, Mitch Moreland, Elvis Andrus, and Shin-Soo Choo back on the active roster and in the starting lineup. And there is Marco Estrada. And Eck, he had a couple of great moments in the postseason last year, one of them right here in Arlington.
Absolutely, probably one of the best postseason pitchers last year, you know, facing elimination a couple of times, coming up big, but great changeup, doesn't throw the ball all that hard, little cutter.
Estrada will face Carlos Gomez, former teammates in Milwaukee with the Brewers. And Gomez takes a strike. Gomez is a significant story here with the Texas Rangers as well. After beginning the year with the Astros, things went very poorly there. So the overall combined numbers between Houston and Texas really don't reflect the kind of player he's been, Joe, with the Rangers. He's been an impact player there, starting left fielder now.
It's like he got a new start here, VA, and everybody was excited to have him and encouraged him to be himself.
What else they did with LaCroix and Beltran is one of the best deals done come trade deadline.
Ball and 2 strikes on Gomez, and Estrada. This is a little bit low. Count evens at 2-2. Marco Estrada, 33 years of age, first-time All-Star this year. Could not participate in the game, had a back injury. And that'll certainly be something that the Blue Jays keep an eye on. And he spins one in and gets a strikeout. Good way to start the day for Marco Estrada as he punches out Gomez.
Here's a defense behind Estrada today. He is a fly ball pitcher, not a ground ball guy. As a result, John Gibbons decided to put his better outfield out there today. That's Upton, Pilar, and Carrera. All can go get him. Tulowitzki, a couple of Gold Gloves while with the Rockies. Solid infield, and of course Russell Martin behind the plate, and also a Gold Glove winner while he was with the Dodgers.
Ian Desmond on the first pitch, lines one to center right at Pilar, and a line drive out. 2 up and 2 down for Marco Estrada.
He got right on top of that fastball. You're going to get a fastball 88 miles an hour. I'll tell you what, I got to be careful with it. He throws it upstairs. That's exactly where he's trying to do it.
2 quick outs for Estrada, and he'll face Carlos Beltran now. One of those key pickups Dennis was talking about. And he swings at the first pitch. And this is going to be a nice breezy inning for Marco Estrada. 1, 2, 3. The Rangers go in order. 1 in the books in Arlington, the ALDS on TBS.
Live Park in Arlington, Texas, 0-0 after Game 1 of the American League Division Series, and I'm here with 6-time All-Star Prince Fielder. Got to be a bittersweet day for you, as folks at home may be aware you were forced to retire after a second neck surgery back in July. What is this day like?
It's all right. I mean, all my teammates want to come to class and have a chance to go to the World Series, and I can drive one of the best seats in the house, so it's all right.
What are you finding to do with your time, and how you feeling now?
I'm feeling good, and I'm doing absolutely nothing with my time, which is nice. You know, I get to do what I want.
Could be worse, I guess. I'm told to ask you if you're allowed to cut Adrian Beltre's hair.
Cut it?
Cut it.
Cut it?
Well, touch it, cut it.
Probably not. I don't think he'll let me cut his hair.
He told us no one can, but everyone does.
Yeah, sometimes. Elvis can touch a little bit. That's about it.
I appreciate it. Good luck.
Yeah, man.
Prince Fielder here. Back up to you, BA.
All right, thanks, Matt. Great to see Prince Fielder back at the ballpark. And had a very emotional retirement ceremony, but what a great presence he must be in that dugout for the Texas Rangers as Hamels starts his at-bat with Russell Martin at the plate leading off. Fielder introduced before the game, got a great ovation here. The comeback player of the year in the American League last season, and just couldn't go anymore. Doctors wouldn't clear him to play, so forced to retire. 1 ball, 2 strikes on the Blue Jay catcher, Russell Martin. Two outstanding catchers in this series to keep an eye on here with Russell Martin and Jonathan Lucroy. And for a few years in the National League Central, these were 2 of the premium catchers along with Yadier Molina. Martin with the Pirates, Lucroy with Milwaukee. And while Lucroy has thrived this year, he's had a great run here, especially as a member of the Texas Rangers in the 2 months he's been here. Russell Martin has had a bit of a down season this season. Still 20 homers on the year, though. 74 runs batted in.
You know, he started off so bad it was hard for him to catch up, but he did get hot. That's why he's got the 20 jacks.
And what he started doing, guys, was he started going back to the middle of the field and the right center. He quit trying to keep up with the rest of his teammates, trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark, and all of a sudden the home run started showing up.
And his story is so much more than just what he does offensively. how well he handles the staff as Martin is out in front and Hamels pulls the string on him for the punch out. His first strikeout of the game.
You know, Hamels has always got this deuce in his back pocket, throwing the ball down in the dirt, but that's a strike that he swings through, got him way out front. You see him have that little index finger up. It's almost like a knuckle curve. Ball goes straight down.
First strikeout for Hamels, one away here in the second for Troy Tulowitzki. And on the first pitch, pops it up a mile high. And Andrews will haul it in for out number 2.
Hamels was on his way to perhaps a Cy Young early in the year. His first 26 starts, he had a 2.67 ERA. But his last 6 starts, his ERA was almost 7 and a 300 average against him. So maybe he needed a little rest. And what rest does for him, when he's working on 6 or more days of rest, he's 3-0 with a 2 ERA.
Well, it was interesting how he worked the last few weeks of the season as he deals strike 1 to Kevin Pillar. Hamels, instead of skipping his final start, or at least skipping a couple of days to get to his final start, which would put him on turn for the postseason, decided to pitch in his regular rotation and then utilize the extra days between his last regular season start and this start. Felt like he could manage it a lot better with all the hype that goes into the postseason. Jimmy Rollins called him Hollywood for a reason. He's built for the big stage, and he knows what postseason is all about. As Pillar grounds one foul, he's made 15 postseason starts in his career, and he's just been fantastic over his last 5 postseason starts. He pitched in that game 5, both of his starts last year on the road in Toronto, and he held up very well in both of those outings. 0-2 pitch. On the ground, Andrews, the slick fielder, long throw, and it is in time. Wow! They will certainly take a look at this, but what a play. Elvis Andrews deep in the hole, looking like Derek Jeter right here to make this play, and it's bang bang, and I'm sure the Blue Jays might want to take this to a challenge.
And they get 2 challenges in the postseason, and they're going to have it checked here.
Boy, that looked like slow motion. It was slow motion, but did he get it in his glove before he touched the front of that bag? What a play there by Jeter play, like you said. Ball's caught in the air. That's a close play.
Sure is. I don't know if there's enough.
And welcome to the new world of Major League Baseball if you haven't dialed in lately. Those dramatic plays that are theatric going into a commercial break, we have to hold now and stop down, and let's see if the play was called accurately or not. First base umpire is Lance Barksdale. So this is out of the hands of the umpires here now. The crew chief is Joe West. He's the man in the middle there. He'll be the one to relay the call from the replay operations center in Chelsea, New York.
Remember, the ball's got to be in the pocket of the glove, not just near the glove. I don't see enough to overturn that.
Right, they may keep it the same because there's just not enough.
One of the things, Dennis, that is working for Hamels, I know he's got what looks like a good curve today and a good change, but he's throwing 94, 95. That's working. Everything's working off that.
Yeah, right. And he's like, he does throw hard, but this time of the season, you know, I think the adrenaline's working for him early in this game.
One of the things they have at the replay center, they have the ability to stitch multiple angles together, which connects the timing of the baseball into the glove. And right away here in the second inning, the replay challenge center is being tested. The hands are on the headset, so looks like a call might be coming now as Joe West is getting the report. And what do we have? Out. And we'll clean it up when we come back, guessing there's not enough evidence to overturn. Inning is over. Beautiful play by Elvis Andrews to end it. schedule presented by Infinity. Coming up next, it's the Boston Red Sox at the Cleveland Indians right here on TBS. And then tomorrow, coverage begins at 12:30. The Blue Jays and the Rangers will play Game 2 of the series. Red Sox Indians at 4:30 Eastern in Game 2 as well. Back at it here in Arlington. Bottom of the second inning, Adrian Beltre leads all for Texas. A thrilling play by Elvis Andrus to end the inning. And the official report from the replay center was that the call stands, which tells you that there wasn't enough evidence to overturn. There's a roller to first, nobody covering. Marco Estrada forgot to cover the bag, and Beltre will reach on what will have to be scored as an infield hit.
Wow. And you don't see this every day. You see the ground ball like sort of he had no idea that no one's covering first base. First of all, Encarnacion is way too far.
Where was he going?
I mean, you blame it on the pitcher. He's got to be there covering, but Encarnacion was too far. And that ground ball was going right to Travis.
Big hand for Rougned Odor.
This little guy has got major power, man. He can whip that bat.
And he's got a serious right hook, as we saw in May. This is the first matchup, by the way, between these two teams since that punch in May. Players downplayed it, rightly so, Joe. I don't blame them. I mean, this is a series where there is too much on the line. Both of these teams have World Series aspirations. They certainly have the talent to make it there.
Yeah, no, I'm with Dennis on that. They've got their eye on the big prize. Don't do anything silly to stir up old feelings and distract everybody.
This little guy will get his hacks in. Punches out a lot, does not walk, right, goes yard.
Odor led the Rangers in homers this year, 33 home runs this season, and this breakout of home runs by second baseman this season. Brian Dozier, at 42 with the Twins, led all second basemen, and that's what you do against a guy who's ready to unleash.
I saw those home runs, and I know you guys have been watching it all year long. I mean, the ball had to be juiced this year. I mean, just ridiculous amounts of home runs. So ask a pitcher, and he'll tell you he thinks something's going on.
Yeah, major league record for homers. Odor hit 33 on the season. And that one's a little change up, lifted in the air to right. Long run for Carrera, but he'll make the play. And John Gibbons tightening up his outfield defense with Bautista in as the designated hitter. Because of the fly ball nature, as you mentioned, Joe, of Marco Estrada. I'm sure there's a little bit to it. At least Bautista's probably glad he doesn't have to go stand in right field and listen to it all day long with the bleachers behind him.
Yeah, there might be something to that too. Good reason to have him in the dugout.
So a man out, and Beltre at first. Here is Jonathan Lucroy. Lucroy, an all-star this year with Milwaukee. Blockbuster trade between the Brewers and the Rangers. Texas sending 3 prospects and 2 of their top 3 prospects to Milwaukee for Jonathan Lucroy and Jeremy Jeffress, who at the time was the Brewers closer and is now a high leverage reliever in the Rangers bullpen. And Lucroy has been this year's Yoenis Cespedes as far as impact on a ball club.
Well, he picked the right place to go to. I know he balked early on that trade to Cleveland. Kind of strange. I think people around the baseball world were saying, why don't you go to Cleveland? But he had his reasons. But he picked the right place here in Texas.
Lucroy led all catchers this year in the big leagues in RBIs. And a swing and a hack. And it's interesting that the battery today with Lucroy and Cole Hamels, 2 players that have arrived to Texas, both vetoing trades elsewhere. You might remember that Cole Hamels vetoed the trade to the Astros last season, ended up as a Ranger. And the same for Lucroy. He had the Indians on his no-trade list, exercised that right. They found a match in Milwaukee with the Rangers, and he's been fantastic here in Arlington. And a wave and a miss. Estrada strikes out his old battery mate for the second out of the inning and the second strikeout for Marco Estrada.
That is a big league changeup right there. You see the ball bottom falls out of that. Estrada throws that changeup with 2 strikes almost 50% of the time. You see that backspin on this thing. You're way out front of it.
I was told today that it is a cue ball changeup, meaning you can't pick up any seams on it, that it has so much backspin on it, spin rate if you will for the modern analogy, but it's hard to detect it from the fastball or the change.
That's a great analogy, the cue ball. Just the white mask coming your way, huh? There's a strike to Moreland.
I wish I could have got away with that 88-mile-an-hour cheese that he's got. I had some spin rate on my salad.
Yeah. If you'd have heard about it,
yeah,
you would have had it.
Yeah.
Estrada, it is impressive, and it always has been with him, how he consistently pitches with a low velocity fastball up in the strike zone. He gets a lot of swings and misses with that fastball. Hitters will tell you it feels like it's got a bump in it. It feels like it rises. Gravity doesn't hit it like most 90-mile-an-hour fastballs.
Well, this Texas team, the scouting report on it is that they can be pitched upstairs, not down necessarily, but at the letters or above, they will swing and miss a lot and pop it up.
Ball and a strike and a big swing and a miss from Moreland.
Boy, he could throw that thing almost right down the middle. That was a good one. It was down in the zone, but I've seen him throw balls right down the middle and they don't even get on it. And he features that. He threw that curveball, throws somebody, Gomez, the first at bat.
From a hitter's standpoint, you go back to the dugout scratching your head wondering how you missed it.
Here comes a high fastball. Moreland at the plate, and the high fastball misses. Almost hit him. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Moreland gives you an idea of the depth of this Texas Rangers lineup. Here's a guy hitting 7th in their batting order with 22 home runs this year. He's a terrific first baseman defensively. 22 homers, 60 RBIs. He's got a lot of pop in his bat. Beltre reached on an infield single to start the inning. 2 outs now, and Moreland right off the end of the bat. The shift is on, and Moreland on a close play is out. Evan Travis took a while to unload, and again we'll probably take a quick look at this one. Jeff Bannister asking the umpires to hold it, and it's another bang bang play at first base.
It's a lot closer than I thought it was.
Well, that play took forever to develop. I said, man, he's playing so far away and he took so long to get rid of it.
So Jeff Bannister gets word from his replay room. No challenge. We go to break. No score. In Arlington, game 1 of this ALDS, and a reminder that live every postseason moment with MLB.com at bat. It's the #1 app for live baseball. It's the only place to get it all. Live radio feeds, video highlights, pitch tracking, StatCast, much more. You can download the app today as Upton goes to right. Wynn's got a hold of it, going back there and making the catch is Chu. Crashes up against the wall. And the Chews come raining down on Shin Su, who is glad to be back on an active roster.
Upton gets a fastball up out over the plate, and he just sends it the other way. Just flipped it. Didn't seem much. It didn't like he got much on it. That ball carried and carried. See, Chu gets a look right there. That is a great play. Not much room to work with. That is not a routine play by any means.
See that brace on his left arm? That is the forearm that he fractured. Actually had a plate installed in that forearm to expedite the process and the recovery so he could make it back for the postseason. Great play. 1 away for Cole Hamels.
Chu was on the disabled list 4 different times with 4 different injuries, including that broken arm.
Ezekiel Carrera with 1 away, and a swing and a bouncer foul.
That ball was hit a little bit farther to the right there. It might have snuck in.
Yep. I think it's evidence of what we were talking about at the beginning about how the wind swirls in here and then blows out toward the porch and right.
Carrera shows bunt, something he does often. And takes a ball. 2 balls and a strike on the 9th place hitter and right fielder today for the Blue Jays, Ezequiel Carrera. Had a great year against lefties this season at .329 against left-handed pitching. Impressive. Same side hitting. You asked the Blue Jays to describe Carrera for them, and you have to use a football or a basketball term, Joe. He's a playmaker. He makes things happen. He's unique in that regard in this lineup. He will bunt, he runs well, and he gets aboard with a walk here with 1 away. And the reason Gibbons likes him in the 9th spot is because he turns the lineup over.
Well, and he's like a second leadoff man. And it's interesting that of the guys that run for the Blue Jays, there are 3 at the bottom of the order today that account for most of their stolen bases. Donaldson will run a little bit too, but it's mostly in the lineup today: Pilar, Upton, and Carrera.
Carrera had that key hit in the 5th inning to drive in a run in the wild card game. Now back to the top of the order, Devin Travis. If you want to dive into the running game a little bit and how it is protected, Lucroy and Martin are both tremendous. But Hamels is a guy, Joe, that takes a little while to get it going. You can steal off Cold Hamels.
Yeah, 23 stolen bases, which is a lot of steals.
And while Russell led the league in stolen base percentage last year, Brian, this year not so much. His percentage is down to 15% on the caught stealings, and Lucroy's is somewhere around 35%.
Any notion of a stolen base is always risky when you have these 2 lineups in this American League setting. Both ballparks are hitter friendly. Today this ballpark is extremely hitter friendly with the wind blowing out to right. And that one is high in the air. Beltre and Andrews converge. That'll be Beltre in foul territory. Out number 2. Travis is 0 for 2 off Hamels. And Carrera still at first base for Hamels.
And Brian, I would say it's very hitter friendly for the moment, but the more that shadow creeps out from the first base line, the tougher it will become for the hitters.
This postseason so far in the 2 wildcard games has been defined by the home run ball. The 2 3-run home runs that we have seen. Connor Gillespie last night with the Giants. Giants winning that wild card game at Citi Field in New York to beat the Mets. And of course the Edwin Encarnacion walk-off home run in extra innings.
Hey, good catch, Matt. Way to go.
Is that a Matt Weiner play down there?
Oh, it was. He barehanded it. Took his glove off for once.
Matt's got a great lather cooking up today. It is nice and warm. Easy to get loose if you're a sideline reporter today. 1 to Donaldson. And he's out ahead of 1. Fouls it away.
Off the screen. Bobble.
Bobble. Off the chest. Put your body
Hang on.
in front.
Got it.
Use your body. Good job, Matt. Oh, 2. 2 outs. They went with a fastball.
Well, those home runs, Brian, put an exclamation point on the ends of those games. The pitching was outstanding in both games.
Bumgarner, silly, what he's done in postseason. You never see a complete game all year, and he's done it a lot in postseason.
Hamels a check on Carrera. Yeah, Noah Syndergaard making his entrance in grand style right in this year's postseason.
He was great. 12
strikeouts last night for Syndergaard, and the 2 starters in the wild card game between the Orioles and the Blue Jays held up very well as well. Hamels shaking off Lucroy. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Carrera a little antsy at first. Stays put, and Donaldson takes it down and in, and it gets away from Lucroy. So Carrera will head to second base, and the first time today we've had a runner in scoring position. That'll be a wild pitch on Hamels.
You see Hamels out there, the changeup, he just fires it in the dirt.
No chance there for LaCroix. He blocked it, but it kicked away. Hamels had his attention taken away from him, I think, by Carrera over there.
Good point. LaCroix normally one of the best blocking balls. That one got too far from him. And now a base hit could give us the first run of this series. 2-2 to Donaldson. And it's off the glove of Beltre. That's a fair ball down the line. In to score is Carrera. Donaldson's on his way to second. The throw comes in. The tag. Safe. Oh. Bang, bang at second base. Gomez almost cut him down.
All these close plays, I'll tell you.
Oh, how about the rocket hit off the glove of a Gold Glove third baseman?
How about this hook? He throws him a hook right here. He is all over this curveball. Hits a rocket like you said, Joe. He was going to stop. He thought he was going to catch it. He just nicked that thing and never really got it in his web. He had no idea where it was.
Carrera scores easily. They want to take a look at this play to see if the out was at second. The run scored.
He never opened his mitt.
Well, it was hooking big time.
There's the tag. I think the tag's on the knee. Looks like he was in there. Unless he clipped him on the spike. Bannister is going to ask for a challenge. The third challenge of this game already, or the third replay review we've seen. This will be the second official challenge.
We get challenges just to stay in shape every inning, don't we?
Good throw by Gomez here.
I thought he had him when he first, because the throw beat him, but he tags him on his knee, and I think the foot's in.
He missed the foot, right? It looks like to me. Second base umpire there is Sam Holbrook, and he is right on top of it. And from that angle, we've got some great looks here. Great work by our camera crew. It looks like the foot hit the bag before the tag got to the knee.
Instead of taking the glove to the bag and waiting for the foot, he tried to go to him and fanned on him until he got to that point.
Keep in mind the call on the field is safe, so there has to be enough evidence to overturn it. We've already seen that.
I'm just flabbergasted by that rocket that Donaldson hit by Beltre.
I mean, that got on him so quick. He didn't, I tell you, his glove was closed. What's the record for replays, too? I mean, you've been doing this all year. You ever had more? That's 3.
The good thing is we're getting a great education in how the process works, and it can, obviously, they're all big plays. They want to get them right. Call on the field is safe. If he is, in fact, out and they overturn it, then that will end the inning. And to put a number on your description of that line drive by Donaldson, Joe, it left the bat nearly 110 miles an hour with exit velocity.
That's home run type stuff. I still think he's safe.
You know, Donaldson got out of the box and stopped almost because he thought he was going to catch it.
One would think that if it's hit at Beltre.
So one thing that we experience nowadays in the last few years, our cameras, our replay can see so much, and safe is the call as expected as Donaldson hustles his way to an RBI double. But we're seeing things that the human eye has never really been able to see with the replay screens.
I don't blame Jeff Bannister at all for appealing that and trying, because with these guys that are coming up now, even with 2 out, if you can somehow end this inning with only 1 run in there, take a shot at it.
All right, so we've had 2 challenges. The play stands is the official wording from the replay operations center. That tells you right there with that word that there wasn't enough evidence to overturn. So here we go. 2 outs, a run in. Toronto strikes first, quiets down this big crowd here in Arlington.
Joe, as far as hitting with the shadows, as long as you can see it out of his hand, if it's in the sun, you're good to go, right?
Yeah.
Right now.
The longer you can track it in the sun, you're okay. It's not going to bother the hitters at this point. When the shadow gets out there short of the mound, it becomes a lot tougher.
Hamels falling behind Encarnacion. He does have a base open at first, but Bautista is looming large on deck for Toronto. And the 2-0 is a hook, and it's in there for a strike. Hamels giving up a 2-out, 2-strike double to Donaldson to plate the first run of this ALDS. Donaldson with a short lead, and Encarnacion is late on the fastball, and he fouls it away.
You see there where he throws a two-seamer in there. When does he ever throw a four-seamer? You don't see anybody throw four-seamers anymore. Everybody's trying to do something with that fastball.
Not unless he wants to go upstairs out of his zone, maybe.
True that.
Big pitch early, only in the third inning. Blue Jays with a run in. And Encarnacion off the glove of Hamels. And no play anywhere as Encarnacion will reach on an infield hit. That'll put runners at first and third with 2 outs.
The pitch right there by Hamels was a fastball. He's trying to get this ball in, but leaves it out over the plate. Kind of got him on the label, because if he were to pull it, he could have never gotten the glove on it. Although it was hit right there in front of him. It wasn't hit all that hard. He slowed it down.
I think Odor would have gotten to that ball.
I can't hardly blame the pitcher for trying to make a play, but it might have cost him an out. And so first and third now for Jose Bautista. Back-to-back hits with 2 outs. Blue Jays with a run in. Stepping into the shadows here is Bautista. A down year by his standards, Bautista, who is a free agent to be, along with Encarnacion. But still a major weapon, and especially in the postseason. And he was taking a swing at the bleachers right there, as he usually does.
Again,
He can air it out, man.
oriented,
Isn't he? I tell you what, he missed about a month and a half this season. That really cost the Blue Jays at one point.
Bautista dealt with turf toe, had a bad toe injury on his left foot. He missed 30 games in June and July with that injury, and then he spent more time on the disabled list in August after spraining his left knee, and that forced him into the DH role quite often, took him out of the right field role. Nobody feels they're 100% when they play a long season, but Bautista probably as good now as he has been in a while, and he's hoping the adrenaline of the postseason will carry him through.
Yeah, he had a little jaw problem back in May also.
I was going to say, why does he wear that mouthpiece? He's got a mouthpiece in there. I think a lot of guys have that. It's kind of something that everybody, new product.
First and third, and the 2-1 is fouled away. That punch to the jaw of Bautista, by the way, resulted in a 1-game suspension for Bautista. He got hit and he had the suspension. Odor went down for 7 games. It was originally 8, reduced to 7. Back on their feet. 2-2 the count. First and third for the Blue Jays. Bautista hangs in there.
You can see by that swing too, and that was a fastball, that he's trying to go out around everything, and if you make a mistake on the inner third, he's going to make you pay.
High pitch count for Cole Hamels. 9 of those pitches came in a first inning at bat against Josh Donaldson, who just doubled in a run. 25th pitch of the inning, and Bautista pulls it foul. These guys are hanging in there. Does not feel like a longevity day for the starting pitchers with the conditions, the weather. And Hamels working hard early. High stress pitches right away in this game. We'll do it again. Another 2-2. And a swing and a foul. Bautista around his eyes, trying to get on top of that one.
How did he get to that ball? I mean, he's looking dead red, and he gets it. It's amazing how he can get to it. It's just higher than high.
Seven pitches in this at bat. He'll see at least 8.
Drop a hook on him, don't you think?
Change up.
Changeup down and away.
2-2. And Bautista up the middle and a base hit. A run will score. Donaldson is in. And another 2-out, 2-strike RBI hit for the Blue Jays. They lead it 2-0 over Cole Hamels and the Rangers.
Another mistake by Cole Hamels again. The curveball, but he didn't get it down. Almost like the curveball to Donaldson. Look at the curveball right here. Is down the middle, and he is all over it. I mean, that's a looping breaking ball. Just a terrible curveball by Hamels, and he has to pay.
Well, what a great at-bat by Bautista. We've seen two terrific at-bats by Blue Jay hitters. That one went 8 pitches. Bautista with an RBI single, second ribby of this postseason. And Hamels is underwater early. 2-0 Toronto. Still 2 outs. Here comes Russell Martin, the 7th batter of the inning.
And this all started with a 1-out walk to the 9-hole hitter.
Blue Jays have done exactly what they wanted to do today. Take this crowd out of it early. Live wire crowd been waiting to start this postseason. And that one misses. Hamels falling behind 2-0. Last year these two matched up in the division series. Texas won on the road the first 2 games, came back here to Arlington, lost the 2 games in this ballpark, forcing that game 5, of course, won by the Blue Jays. 30th pitch of the inning for Hamels, and Martin fouls it back.
They're already 3 for 3 with runners in scoring position, all with 2 out. And that's kind of in keeping with their team for the year. They hit right at 250 for the year. And Bautista hit 290.
And those 3 hits coming in succession here in the 3rd inning. Encarnacion and Bautista, the base runners. Now early activity in the Texas bullpen as Hamels' pitch count soars now. Alex Claudio, the left-hander, is getting loose. And now Martin steps out, and now Hamels wants a chat with Jonathan Lucroy.
You know, sometimes you try to maneuver the ball so much that you don't have, you know, he talks about having 4 pitches, he can do anything he wants, but sometimes you got to condense it a little bit here because they all don't work.
Lucroy told us yesterday the key with Cole Hamels, he felt, was not really game planning against the weakness of the hitter, but to decipher quickly what the strengths of Cole Hamels are on that particular day and then stick with it. Haven't seen it yet. That's a fastball, a buzz inside on Martin, and the count goes to 3-1.
Well, he sure doesn't want to make a mistake with that fastball. That's why you see him trying to get that ball way in there, and he's thrown 2 hangers this inning. That's cost him.
Well, you got Tulowitzki on deck. He would be the 8th hitter of the inning, and Russell Martin is in green light mode. 3-1. First and second, 2 outs. Martin takes ball 4, and the Blue Jays have loaded the bases in this 3rd inning as Cole Hamels struggles. Bannister's ace having all kind of difficulties, and the manager is about to step into a very tough early decision in this postseason, Joe.
Well, it's understandable why Cole Hamels is your guy for Game 1. He's won his last 4 Game 1 assignments, 4-1 in his career. But again, he struggled to the finish line this year. It was just the thought that with an extra day or 2 of rest coming into this start, he'd be ready to go.
Yeah, his command is brutal today.
Yeah.
Pitching on his 8th day. Pitchers normally on their 5th day. Took that extra time between his last regular season start and this Game 1 start. Now Hamels has to deal with Troy Tulowitzki. Bases loaded for the Blue Jays, and Tulowitzki fouls it away. That was a good call by Hamels. Tulowitzki was ready to pull the trigger, and he got the changeup.
Well, he typically is, especially with runners in scoring position. First pitch fastball guy, he's going to be up there hacking.
case you're wondering, Tulowitzki with 3 career grand slams. He is a .359 hitter career with bases loaded. Inside, he misses.
Dennis, I would guess that it's when you've already given up 2, you're in trouble. It's hard to make a quality pitch with your fastball for fear of making that mistake.
He's afraid. He's been afraid with his fastball. He is not going to leave it out over. He's shown him in all right with that fastball. All of them have been balls. Now you'd think he's going to go back to something. Turn it over, 2-seamer, change up, something. Down and away.
This is pitch number 35 of the inning. 1 ball, 1 strike on Tulowitzki, and a swing and a foul.
Changeup's been better than the curveball.
Yes. I think he's junked that curveball for now. Back-to-back changeups or go with high gas out of the zone.
Hamels facing his 5th consecutive batter with 2 outs. Could be a game-changing pitch here. 2 runs are in, the 1-2, and it's down and in.
Can't make that pitch. He just can't make that pitch. He is out if he can make that pitch.
And if you're a hitter, Joe, you're certainly sensing all of this and starting to eliminate what he can and can't throw for strikes.
You're seeing every one of these right-handed hitters kind of jackknife out of the way for balls. Pitches are not in there for strikes. Kind of eliminate something. Start looking middle of the plate.
Hamel shakes. Lucroy goes through him again. 2-2 the count. And Tulowitzki fights one off foul. Back to the change.
That's about all he's got working right now. I would say all that he thinks he's got working from a confidence standpoint.
Yeah, because he just can't dot that inside corner with a fastball.
Put yourself in the mind of the manager right now if you're Jeff Bannister. I mean, you have to be thinking this could be his last hitter. If he can't get Tulowitzki, you don't want to look ahead, but you could bring him back early as Tulowitzki sends one into right center field. Long run. Desmond can't make the play. Pulled it back. 2 runs are in. Tulowitzki's on his way to 3rd. And coming in to score is Martin. It is a 3 RBI triple for Troy Tulowitzki. And the Blue Jays strike 5-0 Toronto.
What happened? It looked like Desmond pulled up in right center field. I don't understand this. He stopped running.
This is his ballpark. If this were in Toronto, I might understand, but this is his ballpark. He knows where he is, or he should know, and then he stopped.
He just pulled up.
A converted shortstop, by all accounts, has been an excellent defender this year, but that is a huge misplay. And 3 runs come in to score, all running with 2 outs. And the Blue Jays have a 5 spot on the board against Hamels and the Rangers.
The mistake was, first of all, Hamels threw a fastball that he got to and drove it. Anytime there's a ball hit 400 feet, it's the pitcher's mistake. But he pulled up. I mean, I think he thought he ran out of room. He went into the shadows a little bit, and then he just pulled up.
And now Pilar fouls it back.
That situation, guys, you got to do a little wall banging here if you're the outfielder. If you think you can still get to it, and it looked like he thought he did because he pulled up and he was still reaching. And obviously when we see it, we know he had more room, but you got to be willing to crash into the wall to try to go get this one. Bases loaded.
And the 41st pitch of the inning for Hamels is a strike. And Pilar is down 1-2.
Everybody's in shock, including Bannister. You think about it, he's leaving him out there, bases loaded, doesn't expect it. Bases clearing double.
Look at that pitch count in this 3rd innings. Pilar up the middle. Hamels makes the play. And a low throw dug out by Moreland. And the inning is finally over. What an inning it was. Cole Hamels sitting there with 2 outs and no runs in. And then the Blue Jays score 5. This American League Division Series on TBS is presented by T-Mobile. A 5 spot, a shocker. The Blue Jays hang 5 on the Rangers, and Cole Hamels with 2 outs in the 3rd inning ended up as a 42-pitch inning for Hamels, and that tells the story as the sun shines down on these Rangers fans. Well, the Rangers, one of the better teams in the big leagues, coming back from deficits. They're down 5 in this postseason, and it'll be Elvis Andrus to lead off for Texas, coming off a career year this season. All those highlighted in yellow. .302 batting average. Was great with runners in scoring position. And if there was one player, Joe, who was haunted by what happened last year in the division series against the Blue Jays in Game 5, it would be Elvis Andrus, and he's been sitting on this a long time. He had 2 costly errors in that Game 5, part of that 4-run 7th inning for Toronto that allowed them to come back and win.
3 unearned runs.
Around the third base, Donaldson across the diamond in time, out number 1. Moments ago, Matt Weiner had a chance to catch up with Blue Jays manager John Gibbons after that 5 spot.
I know you got to be happy your big bats got involved there in the inning. In particular, how gratifying is it that Donaldson stung one after a tough September?
Well, you know, he was the MVP last year, so you know I've seen him get big hits so many times, and yeah, nice inning for us there. You know, it's still so early in the game, that doesn't matter. They got one of the best offenses in baseball, and they can strike as quick as anybody. So, you know, we need to continue to get some good innings out of Marco.
Other than not getting over to first base against Beltre, your thoughts on Estrada so far?
Well, you know, I think he looks very good right now. You know, I've seen him enough. He looks like he's sticking his fastball pretty good. He's got his good changeup, which is really his bread and butter.
You would think that with a 5-run lead, that's about all he needs to do is work his fastball changeup.
That's all we've seen so far this inning. A bunch of high fastballs.
Well, Marco Estrada to the first 9 hitters, 7 first pitch strikes as Shin-Soo Choo batting for the first time in this postseason. Just made it back to the active roster at the end of the season. Estrada certainly carries that burden now. That was about 30 minutes real time from the last time he was on the mound till he starts this inning. Much easier to do on a hot afternoon like this, and he would certainly always love to have the runs. But how much length will he be able to give John Gibbons today? We'll find out.
Well, he's got to feel good because Rangers are just finishing their first trip through the order. Blue Jays about to start their third.
And there's a call. Strike 3. Estrada rings the bell on Choo, who's barking at home plate umpire Chad Fairchild on his way out.
You see this fastball down the way, four-seamer. To me, it was off the plate. I'd like to have it, and he got it. You can't be happy about that. That ball's off the plate,
especially the way Martin caught it.
Well, Chad Fairchild in his 4th division series. He was part of that NLDS last year with the Mets and the Dodgers. A little cue shot by Gomez. Umpires hate detailing strike zones and scouting reports on strike zone, but Joe, I know you saw the book as well. He's thought to have a small strike zone as a home plate umpire. At least that's what the players are going up to the plate thinking. And maybe that rattled Choo as well.
It's not the case in the call. One of the things about Gomez since he's come over to Texas is an effort to not be quite such a wild swinger. He's trying to keep both hands on the bat, shorten his follow through. And in many cases, it has really paid off for him. He's been a real spark plug for them. You were talking about these guys that were added, Dennis, and that is what some scouts told me. Boy, that was a tough one under the chin. Scouts told me that nobody improved themselves like the Rangers did at the deadline.
And Gomez into center field. Pilar eases back on this one. Estrada had him out in front, and Marco Estrada with that shutdown inning. His offense gives him 5, and Estrada only 1 hit through the first 3. Aerial coverage brought to you by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you got to get DirecTV. Sunny day, clear day in Arlington, Texas, the home of the Rangers. Team with the best record in the American League. They will have home field throughout the postseason. That includes the World Series if they make it that far. The American League winning the All-Star game. Hamels back out on the mound. After a 42-pitch third inning, Hamels faces Melvin Upton Jr. to start this fourth inning, who flew out to deep right his first time up.
Kind of an obvious difference between the American League and National League. Hamels' spot in the National League would have been due up second last inning, and he might have been yanked.
Oh, you are so gone in the National League.
He's got Upton 0-2. And Upton turns on one deep into left field. Gomez at the track in front of the wall, looks up. Goodbye, Melvin Upton Jr. A solo home run to start the inning. And the Blue Jays are up 6-0.
This is exactly what John Gibbons talked to us about today, guys, and that was, even though he knew the numbers for Upton weren't good against Hamel, 2 for 24, he said, you know, provides us with some good defense and he might run into one.
And he ran into one right there. The trouble that Hamels had throwing fastballs in on right-handers, cross-seamer right there, that hit me all over it. He took him deep.
Boy, what a turn here. Melvin Upton Jr. acquired from the Padres in July. And a defensive maneuver for John Gibbons with Estrada on the mound, but that little glimmer by Gibbons, as you mentioned, Joe, I think he might have a chance here today. And of course, Upton and Hamels, you think about those two, they matched up against each other in the World Series in '08. Carrera sends one to left. Gomez in the tough Sunfield in left makes a catch for the out, and one away. It is now 6-0 between innings. Matt Weiner caught up with Rangers manager Jeff Bannister.
Seemed like Cole just lost command. Where did it go wrong from your perspective?
Yeah, it looked like it a little bit. Fastball got away from him. So, early in the first couple innings, he had good command with the fastball. 3 of them really, the cutter, the two-seamer, and the four-seamer. But after the ball off of Beltre's glove there, it seemed like he was trying to be a little too fine.
The Tulowitzki triple got away from Desmond. It seemed like he held up as though he thought he was out of room. What did you see?
Well, you know what? It's a long run. Look, we had him shaded over the other way against Cole. Long run for him. Felt like he was going to get there. Just didn't quite get there.
And that's a bad throw. And that'll be an error. Andrews, a throwing error, and it is all going bad here for the Texas Rangers. Our thanks to Jeff Bannister for the chat between innings. He does make a good point. The line drive hit hard, but the line drive to Beltre, the misplay in deep right center, had him shaded over in left.
So this right here is just absolutely routine, and the throw gets away from him. Simple as that. Sailed on him a little bit.
He made 17 errors in the regular season, and Odor at second made 22.
Well, in an inning where Cole Hamels desperately needed quick results and a quick inning, an error puts a man on. Now that gets away from Lucroy, and into second base is Travis.
Kind of an ugly inning here for the Rangers after the 5-run inning last inning, the home run, and they see some sloppy plays right here.
That's got to be a pass ball.
That's a pass ball. Ball's right there. You don't see that happen very often.
The defensive wheels have come off of the Rangers, going back to Desmond's play in center.
You could see Lucroy just trying to stick the landing and make it a strike, and he missed the baseball. Now runner in scoring position for Donaldson, and that is a swinging strike according to the first base umpire Lance Barksdale, and it's a ball and a strike. Donaldson has had 2 great at-bats already. 9-pitch walk in the first, 2-out, 2-strike RBI double in the third. Batting for the 3rd time already. And that one's in the air, shallow right center. That's going to fall. Travis got a good jump. He's rounding third and headed home. And the Blue Jays up 7-0 now. As Donaldson with his 2nd RBI, it's a single. And Ranger fans are starting to call on the manager to make the move here, which he will do.
How about Donaldson? Wild pitch, base hit, drives in the run. Pass ball, sets up another guy in scoring position, drives in the run.
And that is it for Cole Hamels, the Rangers ace. running into a Blue Jay roadblock here in game 1 of this ALDS. He will exit with 7 runs in. We're only in the 4th.
Is presented by authority of the Office of the Commissioner of Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent.
You can follow Bleacher Report on Instagram and get the coolest sports content before anyone else. Join millions of others and follow Bleacher Report on Instagram right now. It is 7-0. Cole Hamels, a career high 7 earned runs allowed in the postseason. His previous high was a 5-run game in the World Series. That was against the Yankees, game 3 of the World Series in 2009. Tough day at the office for Hamels. And now he hopes he gets another chance later in this series. So Alex Claudio is in, the soft throwing left-hander, to face Encarnacion. See the numbers for Claudio, and a unique picture in this Texas Rangers bullpen, and he's in the game a lot earlier than Bannister hoped he would.
A funky delivery right there, almost like he threw a screwball.
In the air to center field, Encarnacion out to Desmond, who went back, now comes in, and there is the out, which is the 2nd out of the inning. And a big bat retired.
They've got some relievers out there, Texas does, that can go multiple innings. There's a concern that they want to keep somebody for a long man, but they've got enough guys out there that can give them 2, so that's not a problem for Texas.
Jose Bautista now with 2 away. Such an interesting moment for a manager in a game like this. Joe and Eck, we've seen it throughout the years. You have to make decisions based on this game, but you also have to make decisions based on the rest of the series as well. And your ways out, and because Hamels is going to have a relatively low pitch count for an entire game, that's another guy you could consider to come back in a potential game 4. It will be interesting to see how these managers navigate through it. Of course, if you're the Rangers, you're just hoping for a comeback. It's a high-powered offense, but down 7 runs is a lot to ask.
Against the best pitching staff in the American League, based on ERA and batting average against.
Talk about pitch count. He threw almost 90 pitches, so it's not like he only threw 30.
Bautista takes a ball inside.
Well, this Claudio guy, he's got some funk, doesn't he? That changeup is like that little turn me over 67 miles an hour.
And wonder how it got there.
Runner at first. Bautista into right field. Hit pretty well. Coming in is Chu, and he's got it for the out. And the side is retired. Claudio puts the lid back on the jar. But the Blue Jays get to Cole Hamels. Upton goes deep. Another RBI for Donaldson. It's 7-0. Netcast powered by Amazon Web Services. And Joe, this is the play of the game to this point.
Well, I'm told that first step, if it's in the negative range, that's a good sign. A good sign. His was .27. That was not a good jump on that ball to begin with. That he thought he was running out of room on it. And in his defense, with that shadow the way it was at that moment, maybe that influenced him thinking he was getting closer to the wall.
Certainly not a routine play by any stretch. It goes as a 3 RBI triple for Troy Tulowitzki. It is also the deepest part of the ballpark. It is 407 out there where he hit that ball, but Desmond in his first postseason as an outfielder. And he will lead off for Texas, batting at the 2 spot. Marco Estrada has been streamlined thus far, had a 7-pitch first inning, 15 pitches in the second, just 12 last inning. He's only given up the 1 hit. That was a Beltre infield single, and probably should have been an out. Estrada didn't cover first on that one. Desmond, Beltran, and Beltre coming up against Gibbons and the Blue Jays.
We got a chance to talk to Gibbons earlier this afternoon, and is he casual or what? I mean, he's something.
Desmond on the ground. Tulowitzki throws on one leg, and accurate as always. Desmond retired. Very few do it better than that. That kind of play with that kind of throw than Troy Tulowitzki's. Won a couple of Gold Gloves.
Donaldson almost messed this whole thing up. You see him go diving for this ball, can't get to it, and you see Tulowitzki that he makes this throw all the time on that right foot.
I think he'd rather throw that one.
Yeah.
That's an old school way to throw the baseball. Used to see that a lot back in the day, maybe even before you guys played.
I'm not so sure.
So one away here is Beltran. Tulowitzki won those Gold Gloves as a member of the Rockies. Key trade for the Blue Jays last year, picking up Tulowitzki. They gave up a lot of talent, but helped him into the postseason. Needed to anchor down that shortstop position.
He's the one with that ugly glove that he wears, isn't it? I mean, they did a thing on that once, and I don't know how he catches anything with it.
Looked like a pancake, didn't it?
A pancake with gold patches on it.
Yes, sir.
When you win a Gold Glove. He's had that glove a long time.
It's like a pretty big glove. Well, not as big as that one.
As Beltran pops this one up. Upton's coming in, and he's got it for the out. Beltran retired. He's 0 for 2. And Marco Estrada making it look easy so far on this Thursday afternoon in Arlington, Texas. Left field is the tough sun field here in this ballpark. And with the sunglasses down, Upton able to make the play.
That's only the 4th fly ball out, guys, for Estrada, who is a notorious fly ball pitcher. So he's getting outs in a lot of ways today.
Facing Adrian Beltre now. There's strike one.
Little parachute ball, 76.
And Beltre down on a knee. He actually has hit a number of home runs from one knee this year. That's common for him.
Yeah, most of the time it's an off-speed pitch that he goes down on one knee. It's not uncommon for him to go deep like that on one knee.
And he chases the high fastball. Ranging over is Travis and Marco Estrada. They in the rocking chair early. Only the one infield hit. That's a 3 up, 3 down, 4th.
This 2016 ALDS telecast on TBS is brought to you by Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing, and by PNC Investments, for the achiever in you.
Well, the Blue Jays have quieted down this home crowd of the Rangers this afternoon. 7-0 Toronto as we go to play in the 5th inning now. Russell Martin leads off, Tulowitzki to follow, then Kevin Pillar. Second Rangers pitcher Alex Claudio still out there. Got the final 2 outs of the 4th inning in relief of Cole Hamels, who goes 3 1/3 today, gives up 7 runs. 6 of those were earned in his worst postseason start of his career. Jeff Bannister certainly hoping to get some innings out of Claudio today. He has been a guy that can pitch extended innings. Twice he's gone at least 4 innings in a game in the regular season as Martin rolls one to Beltre, one of the great all-time third basemen. And there's out number 1. That's 3 in a row for the left-hander.
Texas in a much better position than Toronto coming into this game. Toronto trying to play for their life the last week of the season. Overdid it with a couple of relievers. One in particular, Ozuna, comes into this playoff. The closer comes into this playoff not really uncertain, sort of, which you don't see very often.
Yeah, Matt reported on that to start the game as Tulowitzki lines one into right center field. Over to cut it off is Chu. Tulowitzki will settle for the single, and he has 2 hits in this game 1.
And again on the first pitch. Dennis, that's a good point about Ozuna, because this is the best possible scenario for Toronto. Get a big lead, not have to worry about using a closer, get him an extra day of rest, and then see how he feels tomorrow.
He got the sense that Gibbons, he wouldn't say that outright. He said, I'd love to get him a day, but obviously if you're in a safe situation, you'd have to make a decision. But maybe the most revealing notion on the roster makeup of the Blue Jays the fact that they carried 8 relievers. And so that would lead you to believe that they're not quite sure.
Right.
On Osuna.
They've been leaning on everybody out there. Grilly's pitched a lot for them. Biagini's pitched a lot.
Pilar with a chopper. Claudio gloves it and fires it to first. And the Blue Jays center fielder is retired. Tulowitzki advances to second base. 2 men are out here in the 5th.
Well, and a big loss when they got in that scuffle with the Yankees.
Brutal. That was horrible. I mean, to lose Benoit like that, I mean, that is a huge loss for them.
Now, those who cover this team will be quick to tell you that the addition of Grilly and Benoit, without those two, they probably don't make the postseason this year. But Benoit, Joaquin Benoit, who has experience as a closer, not available for this postseason. Claudio deals strike 1 to Upton.
That's why that brush up with New York was just so bad for Toronto. It just was really awful.
There was a scare that Travis had gotten hurt in that too with his bad shoulder, but he was able to recover.
Tulowitzki at second, and a swing and a miss by Melvin Upton. Melvin Upton back in the postseason box score. He was so great for the Tampa Bay Rays in 08. He had 7 home runs in the first 2 rounds of that postseason. Hit his first home run since the 08 ALCS. And a grounder to Andrews. Throw is good. This time inning is over, and Claudio gets through the inning, and a scoreless inning for the Toronto Blue Jays. Well, Marco Estrada is rolling. The Blue Jays are up 7-0 as we go to the home 5th. Hey, a reminder, T-Mobile wants to see how your baseball's #1 fan. Use hashtag #UnlimitedBaseball for a free MLB shop gift code and the chance to win tickets to every 2017 World Series game. Back in Arlington, Marco Estrada back on the mound. Rougned Odor will lead off for Texas. And a 7-0 lead. The Blue Jays score 5 with 2 outs in the 3rd. If you're just coming our way, RBIs in that inning for Donaldson. Jose Bautista had an RBI single. Those 2 came with 2 strikes and 2 outs. And then Troy Tulowitzki with a 3 RBI triple in the right center. Also on a 2-strike pitch with 2 outs. Blue Jays were able to tack 2 more on in the 4th inning. Donaldson with 2 RBIs in this game. Tulowitzki with 3. Melvin Upton Jr. has homered for the Blue Jays. Meanwhile, Marco Estrada has been locked down on the Rangers. Only 1 hit. It was an infield hit off the end of the bat.
A lot of guys these days have been going to the kind of no wind up, Dennis, and Estrada's one of them. He just kind of turns and then kicks his leg up. But he also has a little hitch in his delivery right here that can throw the timing off of the hitters a little bit, because he doesn't, it's not one smooth continuous delivery.
You see that a lot in some of the Japanese pitchers. They have that little hesitation, but a lot of guys are going to that no wind-up thing, you know, like look like they're from the stretch most of the time.
He has been on an amazing journey, Marco Estrada. Just 4 years ago, the spring training of 2012, wasn't even on a major league roster and really had no hopes to make it to the big leagues right away. He was in minor league camp in Milwaukee. And here he is, an all-star, pitching in game 1 as Odor flies to right. And 1 gone for Estrada here in the 5th inning. I talked to Marco a lot about that and that emergence. He always believed in himself, but it's a completely different style of pitching. And Joe, you touched on it earlier with the spin rate and all, and how analytics can go into a game. This is a guy for his entire career, and when he came up with the Washington Nationals, was a guy who was told to keep the ball down. Keep the ball down. You don't throw hard enough to ride up in the strike zone. And then they found that he could pitch up in the zone at 90 miles an hour, 91 miles an hour. And that's when things started to turn for him. Zach Greinke broke a rib playing in a pickup basketball game in 2012, and that opened the door for Marco Estrada to be put on a major league roster, and he's just gotten better and better. Arrived in Toronto in a trade with the Blue Jays prior to last season. here he is pitching game 1. Lucroy in the air to left field. Melvin Upton will make the play for the out. 2 quick outs, 2 fly ball outs for Estrada.
Well, we hear so much about everybody throwing 95 to 100 these days, and how great the arms are in the young pitchers. But isn't it refreshing to see some guys that can pitch under 90 miles an hour and be successful, like Estrada?
You know, the thing, that's what you said, they're all big arms right now. He wouldn't sign right now. You would never sign a guy like that right now.
Now the changeup is a great pitch for him. I love the analogy of the cue ball, like in pool, the cue ball with no laces. Hitters are always searching, right, Joe, for something they can see. Spin on a slider, the little dot, anything that the red laces will show you as what the pitch is.
Especially on a circle change, that sometimes you can pick that up. It looks like kind of like a screwball spin in a way at times.
There's a fastball by Estrada.
But there's not a whole lot of deception. I mean, you said maybe a little hesitation there, but that's about it. I mean, he's coming right over the top.
I think that's what helps his changeup is right over the top. Yeah, he is using his wrist snap effectively to impart that spin rate.
Here comes a changeup here, and Moreland off the end of the bat. Out in front of it, a high pop-up. Wind is blowing, but Tulowitzki is calling, and he's got it. And Marco Estrada, another scoreless inning. 5 in the books for Estrada. It's 7-0 Toronto. Don't miss the Boston Red Sox and the Cleveland Indians. Their game 1 next on TBS, 8 p.m. And got a 20-game winner on the mound in that one. Rick Porcello tonight against Trevor Bauer. There's another 20-game winner, Jay Happ of the Toronto Blue Jays. He'll match up against Yu Darvish tomorrow. 2 20-game winners in the AL. The one in the National League, Max Scherzer, will get the ball in game 1 for the Washington Nationals.
Where did Jay Happ find himself? In Pittsburgh last year? That's where he found it, didn't he?
Yeah, it's a great story.
It really is. You know, goes to Seattle, didn't pitch all that well, goes to Pittsburgh and did his thing, and goes back to Toronto.
Alex Claudio back on the mound for Texas with Ezekiel Carrera leading things off here, and a 2-1 count on Carrera, batting in the 9 spot. Walked and scored in the 3rd inning. Flew out to left field in the 4th. That big inning was the 3rd, the 5-run inning. And Carrera scored the first run of this postseason.
Yeah, all those runs coming with 2 outs. Think how different the inning would have been if Beltre had caught that line drive that Donaldson hit to end it.
And there's a walk. So the second walk of the game for Carrera, a left-handed hitter walking twice against left-handed pitching. The man on to start the 6th for Toronto. Devin Travis now back to the top of the Blue Jays order. Think about the Blue Jays, you think about a team that thumps, and the dead pull power hitting Blue Jays. But then, Joe, you look at their roster makeup with Pilar, Upton, Carrera back to the top with Devin Travis, and they have some guys that'll go to the opposite field. They have some speed in there as well, some playmakers, if you will. Has balanced their lineup. Back to the box. Claudio slings one over to second. Odor to first, and a double play. 1-4-3 double play. Wipes out the leadoff walk for Claudio.
Well, that was nicely done right there. It took his time. Claudio, after he gets this ground ball right back at him, takes his time. A little shuffle there. Odor turns it easily.
They needed something to kind of stir them up a little bit. They really need something offensively, even if it's just a base runner of some sort, to get something going.
Every collision or every bump at second base with Odor involved deserves a replay. That's right off the end of the bat. Donaldson sends one down the right field line, thinking about 2. He's on his way, and the throw from Chu, and safe is the call. Another hustle double by Josh Donaldson.
But Donaldson having a day today. That's 3 for 3. Walked the first time up. You don't see him do this very often. A little sinker down and away, shoots that ball the other way. Nice piece of hitting for him right there. He's going to try to get 2 out of this. Shows the kind of hustle that he has too. He's been hurt a lot this year, that hip in particular, but he goes head first dive, safe in the second.
He's an MVP, you know.
Yes.
Set the bar very high for himself this season. A lot of talk around Toronto is that he's been battling some injuries, not feeling 100%. There was a hip problem in the final month. But boy, has he come on in this postseason. 3 hits now. There's a big swing and a miss by Encarnacion. 67-mile-an-hour changeup from Claudio. Encarnacion had an infield hit and scored a run in the 3rd. Claudio pitching in his 3rd inning now. He got the final 2 outs of the 4th. A scoreless 5th inning. 2 men out with Donaldson at second here in the 6th. And Encarnacion flicks one into left field. It's got some carry to it. Gomez is back. Oh, and what a catch! Carlos Gomez. A great play, crashing up against the wall, saves a run, and they're finally on their feet in Arlington.
This 2016 ALDS telecast on TBS is brought to you by Sonic. Fly on over for buy one get one free boneless wings Monday through Thursday after 5 p.m. And by the 2017 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport. Go from 0 to anywhere.
Sun setting here in Arlington, the home of the Cowboys, right next door. Crowd still buzzing about that great play by Gomez. We'll give you multiple replays of that as we get this 6th inning started. Marco Estrada working on a shutout through the first 5. Elvis Andrus pops the first pitch up, and Martin will give it a look, and that'll end up in the Blue Jay dugout. Good effort there by Donaldson. Joe, what a play by the Gold Glover Carlos Gomez.
Well, this is the kind of play you have to make when there's a guy on base and you know there's a chance that it could be an extra base hit and another run. You sacrifice your body a little bit. He made a tremendous play to end the inning. May have tripped a little bit there going into the fence too.
Alex Claudio, sign of approval right there. Fantastic play by Gomez. Keeps the Blue Jays at 7-0. He got a great hand all the way in. Rightly so did Gomez. Slow curve by Estrada.
Dennis, you and I were talking before the ball game about this Texas team and some of the oddities about it, and we're seeing a little bit of that today. They won 95 games, but they only had a +8 run differential.
It's unheard of. It really is.
That's nuts.
That plays right into the 1-run games.
Andrus a liner into center field. That's down, a base hit. Only the 2nd hit of the game. Elvis Andrus keeps the crowd going here in Arlington.
So what we were told was that they lose big, and they're losing big today.
You see this finally a curveball. He hasn't thrown very many curveballs today. And they get something going. Andrus base hit center field, nobody out.
And here is Shin-Soo Choo now. Rangers had a decision to make in right field. Nomar Mazara, their terrific rookie, and a guy who figures to be a cornerstone for the Rangers for many years to come. They also have Beltran as a right fielder. But Choo, healthy, put himself through the rigors to get back after that fractured forearm. And he's earned the spot in the lineup here today. And it will be interesting. It's a 5-game series. You never know how it's going to go with injuries and whatnot. It will be interesting to see how Bannister maneuvers his roster, carrying 7 pitchers and 5 bench players.
That kid Mazara we saw in the dugout there, he's a heck of a player. 20 home runs as a rookie.
Started off good. First couple months sort of tailed off really the last couple of months. Big kid.
Now the youngest player in the major leagues this year at 21 years of age.
Estrada's thrown him 3 changeups in a row. See if he'll throw him 4.
And the 1-2, and Chu takes it down and away. Remember that strike called on Chu earlier, that was away. Estrada is a strike thrower. Great command, confident with everything he has. This will be a changeup. 2-2 with Andrews at first and Chu's out in front.
You're getting a taste of why Estrada led the American League in batting average against him at 203. And in Blue Jays history, only Roger Clemens had a lower batting average for a single season.
You know, left-handed hitters hitting under 200 off of him. 190. Really, he's a 2-pitch pitcher.
2-2 misses away.
Well, he humped up on that one. 87.
This is a big pitch right here. I mean, I know it's 7-0, but they got to make something happen.
Rangers have been the best comeback team in the big leagues. Those comebacks didn't look like 7-0, however. Full count, nobody out, lead man on, and Chu slaps one foul. And he's late on that 88-mile-an-hour fastball.
He's sitting on his changeup. I guess you have to, don't you? I mean, and adjust.
That's what he's hoping that you feed off of, and then he can slip it by you, especially upstairs. Slip the fastball by you.
There it is.
The payoff pitch. Runner goes, and Chu fouls this one away. It's back-to-back fastballs. Andrews was on the move.
He fouled that off like it was 100 miles an hour.
Jeff Bannister in his second season as the skipper of the Rangers, the reigning American League Manager of the Year, back-to-back division champs under Bannister. There goes Andrews again, and a swing and a miss. The throw to second is on the mark, the tag, and out at second base. Andrews believes he was safe. He's asking his manager to take a look at it, which he certainly will. Can you imagine a strike him out, throw him out double play down 7-0 if you're Texas?
Well, Chu finally got the changeup he was looking for, and look at this swing. I mean, way out in front. The throw by Martin's on the money. I think the tag was a little late.
Great throw by Martin with the runner falling in front of him. I think you're right, Dennis.
Ooh. Bang, bang.
Man,
call on the field
so
is out. Check out the left ankle of Andrews as well, as Tulowitzki came down on him here. Wow, that's tough. That's going to be tough to overturn.
I mean, the throw wasn't right on the dime, that's for sure. He had to get it and take it to Andrus.
That's going to be the best look right there.
I thought so too.
Yep, and Jeff Bannister waves Elvis Andrews back into the dugout. So no challenge here for Bannister.
What a throw.
Well, that took the wind out of their sails. A little something they had going on. You're thinking.
And Gomez coming up, who just made the great play, and you know how emotional he is.
He must have got his forearm before he got his fingers in there.
Great work by our camera crew and replays there. Beautiful look. We've had a lot of close plays already in this game. Top of the order now. Here is Gomez. And he takes a ball. Gomez with the Rangers had 8 homers in just 130 plate appearances. Hit just 5 most of the season with the Astros. There's a wild swing that Gomez has been getting away from here as a member of the Rangers.
That's the old one.
Yeah, that's a parachute piece, man. You can't help but swing like that, right? Look at it. It was sitting there for days up in his eyes.
For the Rangers is a real simple tool. As Gomez arrived here to Texas, Anthony Iapoce, the hitting coach, and the assistant hitting coach Justin Mayshore, whatever you do, keep your hands on the bat and keep your helmet on your head, because if you've watched Carlos Gomez all these years, there's at least one a game, sometimes multiple times a game, where such a big swing and the helmet will pop right off the head, and they're trying to eliminate that. And there's method to that madness for the Rangers hitting coaches.
You see Hanley Ramirez do it all the time. Somebody says, get a new helmet, man, you know. But he leaves Earth too. But it's hard to keep your hat on when you swing that hard.
That's the spring-loaded dreadlocks with Hanley, though.
Right.
As Gomez fouls one away. That's hit well. Wow,
Ooh.
that one came close to hitting the foul pole there.
Missed.
Surprising.
He just flicked that ball.
I was just looking here at Estrada, though. He took a no-hitter into the 7th inning at Seattle on September 19th. That was part of that 3-start spree he was on. And another changeup to dazzle him. Unbelievable.
Strikeout of Gomez. Back-to-back Ks. A strike him out, throw him out, double play. Still 7-0 Birds. It is time for Records and Milestones, presented by Jim Beam. Drink smart. And you take a look at the postseason career of Jose Bautista. .298 hitter, 14 hits, including 5 home runs in his first 12 postseason games. Bautista with a home run in the wild card game opened up the scoring in that one. Today has an RBI, had a single up the middle. That was a long battle, an 8-pitch battle with Bautista and Cole Hamels, and he delivered with an RBI single as part of that 5-run 3rd inning. 1 for 3 today. And Bautista, the dead pull hitter, gets that kind of respect from the infield. You have 3 infielders on the left side. And Claudio pitching now in his 4th inning. 2 2/3 thus far. He's given up 2 hits. He's had a walk. Started a 1-4-3 double play. And if you're looking for silver linings, if you're the Rangers, he has bridged the gap, picking up some innings here for Jeff Bannister as he walks Bautista to start the 7th.
Watching him pitch, the kind of stuff that he features, you wouldn't think he would be a guy that would give you multiple innings. He almost looks like sort of a left-handed specialist.
We got a visit to the mound here. Doug Brocail, the pitching coach, gives us a chance to check in with Casey Stern in our Atlanta studios. Hello, Casey. Those postseason numbers jump off the page, right? We're just talking about Bautista and his 5 career postseason home runs. I like what Gary Sheffield said, joining Casey and company on the pregame show today, and talking about Bautista, a guy who uses the energy, the negative energy, negative feedback from an opposing crowd like he certainly got today. He uses that as positive energy. He has done that. He is perfectly fine being the villain in any scenario that he operates in, and the histrionics and the bat flips and all the things he does. He welcomes that kind of reaction. It actually motivates him. I agree with that statement.
Well, I think he's had a lot of practice. You know, that's what he's had.
That's good. Yeah, he obviously doesn't mind it. Martin way out in front. Claudio fired up a 68-mile-an-hour changeup, and Beltre will make the catch in foul territory. Boy, this is a clinic in changeups today, Eck. This is fascinating between Estrada and Claudio.
I'm telling you, these guys would not have gotten signed to be in the big leagues. There's no way when you watch what they feature, but it goes to show you it's not about velocity in this game. It's nice to have 95, but you got to have something else. But
this guy's got a little trickery with his deception and his delivery. Estrada does not. He's right over the top.
Didn't that look like a screwball to you? Like he turns it over.
Troy Tulowitzki, 3 RBI triple. Got a single as well, 2 hits in this game. And a check on Bautista.
You know, back to that Boston-Cleveland series, I know you got to see Boston a lot. They were a juggernaut at the end of the season, long winning streak and all. And people are kind of writing off Cleveland because of their injuries on their pitching staff, but I wouldn't discount Cleveland. They are really good.
On the ground, Claudio again gloves it, fires it to Odor. That's easy as it gets. 1-4-3 double play. Boy, Alex Claudio, he's having a moment here in the postseason. Still 7-0 Blue Jays. Toronto taking it to Texas. Game 1 of this ALDS, this American League Division Series on TBS, is presented by T-Mobile. Cole Hamels struggling mightily. His worst postseason start. Stretch time here in Arlington. Marco Estrada has been terrific. 6 shutout innings, only 2 hits. And we welcome you back from the Lone Star State. Brian Anderson with Dennis Eckersley and Joe Simpson. And Joe, you start to look at the way this game is unfolding here for Toronto. They took advantage of mistakes and their 2-out approach, their 2-out success, a big story.
The non-catch by Beltre in the 3rd inning that would have ended the inning opened the door for 5 runs. The error by Andrews led to another run. Those 2 mistakes are glaring. I know that Desmond didn't make the catch in center field, but that wouldn't have even taken place if Beltre makes that catch on that rocket line drive.
You know, but Hamels wasn't himself. You know, got through the first couple innings and then leadoff walk to Carrera to start that 3rd inning, the disastrous 3rd inning. Throws over 40 pitches, couldn't hit that inside corner. A lot of 3-2 counts, a lot of deep counts, a couple of mistakes with a curveball. Just didn't have it today, Hamels.
If you go back to last year's division series between the Blue Jays and the Rangers, Texas winning twice on the road at Rogers Center in Toronto, and then surrendering the 2 home games here in Arlington before the Blue Jays won that series. Toronto won the last 3 games. A lot can change quickly in a postseason. If you're a Rangers fan, you can hold fast. Still have plenty of baseball here today. You never know. Marco Estrada has been fantastic, and he is putting together a nice little resume of postseason outings. He pitched in an elimination game here in Arlington last year. That was game 3 after the Rangers had won the first 2 in Toronto. And he pitched beautifully that game, went 6 innings, and came back, had another terrific start in an elimination game against the Royals in Kansas City.
This is effortless to me. I mean, he could throw all day long the way he's doing this.
Ian Desmond starts it. The big play in this game was the triple by Tulowitzki. I'll be curious to hear what Desmond has to say about it. Knowing Desmond, he's probably going to tell you he should have made the play. It would have been a very difficult play, but it was a game changer. Instead of a 2-0 lead, it made it 5-0, and a 5-run 3rd inning, and all of those runs coming with 2 outs.
If you see the play again, you'll see Hamels drop his head right after he threw that pitch, so he knew that was damage. Now, whether or not he should have caught it or not, that wasn't going to be an easy play, but Hamels knew he made a mistake.
Desmond skies one into shallow right center field, and Pilar's got it for the out. 1 away. Now, does Marco Estrada have enough to potentially finish this game? That would be something to dive into right now. His pitch count's in great shape, and Eck, all day long, it's been the less is more approach for Marco Estrada.
He has not thrown a ball 90 miles an hour and doesn't have to. The changeup is his bread and butter, to say the least. We've seen a lot of bad swings by it. We thought he's a fly ball pitcher coming in. Hasn't really given up all that many fly balls, but you see he does throw a lot of high fastballs and gets away with it.
Something else I just picked up on watching those replays in that package there is how he flips that glove up high, and that kind of hides his delivery a little bit too, coming over the top.
Maybe that's the deception that you don't see.
Ball and a strike on Beltran, and a swing and a liner foul.
But this guy was 9-9 this year, a 3.48 ERA. Very good ERA in the American League, especially in his home ballpark. Career-wise, 45-43 with a 3.86 ERA.
All-star for the first time this year, Estrada. A pitcher who did not make his high school baseball team until he was a senior in high school. He was raised in the San Fernando Valley in Los Angeles, born in Mexico, raised in the LA area. There's Beltran, a little cue shot. That's going to fall for a base hit. So back-to-back innings for the Rangers with hits. Single by Andrews last inning. Now a one-out single for Beltran here in the 7th.
I know last inning, Brian, that there was a double play, a strike him out, throw him out double play. But you would think this guy, with the changeup and off-speed pitch that he has, would get a lot of ground balls in these situations. Yet he hasn't had a double play turned behind him in his last 13 starts.
Pitching up in the zone often. Feels like his ground balls are cue shots off the end of the bat. With the big swings, we've seen a couple of those today as well.
Sometimes he would like you to put the changeup in play, right? Instead of a swing and miss. And maybe he could get a ground ball, but they swing through it.
Adrian Beltre with a man on and one away for Texas. And that misses high. Beltre able to lay off.
And let's face it, he's had the luxury of a 7-run lead for quite a while too, so he's able to make a mistake or two.
On the ground, Tulowitzki over to second, get the lead out there, the turn and throw to first is in time, and there's your double play.
There it is.
Wow, Joe Simpson's crystal ball shows up again in the postseason. Marco Estrada turning himself into the story here. The offense gets him 7 runs, and Estrada with a shutout going into the 8th. Six Flags over Texas, and our aerial coverage brought to you by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you got to get DirecTV. Arlington, Texas, home of the Rangers. And the Rangers, the American League West champs, the team with the best record in the American League. Blue Jays coming out of the wild card game, had that thrilling victory, that walk-off win by Encarnacion in extra innings, taking down the Orioles, and they have been the aggressor here today. 7-0 Blue Jays. New pitcher for the Rangers after Claudio pitches very well across 3 2/3 innings is Tony Barnett, coming to the Rangers from Japan. Was a top flight closer in Japan the last few seasons.
Quite a story, isn't he?
Really did a nice job for them this year. You see the numbers were outstanding. A guy that doesn't really throw real hard, cutter, slider, sinker.
Pilar in the air. Lucroy sizes it up and right up against the screen, makes a catch for the out. And Barnett has his first man retired. Bullpen's been good. Alex Claudio doing the heavy lifting with 3 2/3. Now Melvin Upton Jr. went deep in the 4th. Let's take a look at StatCast, powered by Amazon Web Services. Left the bat at 100 miles an hour and just cleared the wall. And Upton's first home run in the postseason since 2008.
What a good choice by John Gibbons today.
Shocking, you think, right? 2 for 24 coming in.
Yeah.
On the ground on the first pitch. Elvis Andrews will make the play. 2 up and 2 down. Gibbons has been pulling all the right cards here in the first 2 games of this postseason. I thought his use of the bullpen was brilliant against the Baltimore Orioles. And while most of the headlines, certainly Twitter reacting to Zach Britton being left in the bullpen in that game, the Blue Jays got great work from their bullpen. The pulls that Gibbons had, specifically Liriano, might have influenced Buck Showalter a little bit in that game, with a starter in the game and the ability to maybe go deep into extra innings.
You still can't get away from the fact that you didn't use Britton. I mean, you just can't. There's nothing you could say to defend that.
Especially when Jimenez got in trouble.
All right, I mean, it didn't take long, man. You didn't have time to think. That game was over in a flash. But in Toronto, people are talking about should have Liriano started, right? I mean, Stroman did a nice job, 6 innings, a couple of runs. But that's a weapon out there, Liriano.
Well, our guys in the studio were certainly emphatic about Liriano starting that game versus Stroman, and it's part of the hunch playing that goes on in the postseason. Carrera sends one to right. That's going to fall. A late break by Chu. And Ezequiel Carrera is on base for the 3rd time today. That's 2 walks and now a single for the 9-hole hitter.
That ball seemed like it was in the air a long time, didn't it?
Yeah, forever. And might see him try to swipe one here.
Top of the order now. Here's Devin Travis. He is 0 for 4 today. Did reach on an error and scored a run in the 4th inning. Lucroy mishandling now, and runner will stay put though. Lucroy has not been his normal self defensively today. Had a pass ball earlier that set up a scoring chance. That was with Travis at first base, actually, back in the 4th inning. Josh Donaldson would capitalize on that pass ball and drive in a run. Rangers have just been a little slow on the draw today. They look like the team that is playing in their first postseason game. Little pop-up right off the handle, and Moreland will put it away. Barnett works a scoreless 8th. Bottom of the 8th coming up. Rangers are running out of outs. Toronto all over them today, 7-0. Our American League Division Series coverage on TBS is presented by T-Mobile. Big D, Dallas, Texas, off in the distance, and a few miles from there we are in Arlington, Texas, home of the Rangers, home of the Cowboys, right next door. And as the sun sets, Marco Estrada goes back to work. Bottom of the 8th inning, Rangers coming up. It'll be Odor, Lucroy, and Moreland. And Marco Estrada trying to take this one as far as he can go. And on the first pitch, Odor skies one. And Donaldson is there to make the play. 1 pitch and 1 out. Pitch count in great shape.
Boy, this is playing right to Estrada, isn't it? I mean, ridiculous.
Masterful work. Nobody taking anything.
88 pitches with an out in the 8th inning. Talk about no stress.
Marco Estrada, 33 years of age, having another terrific postseason moment for the Toronto Blue Jays. And his old battery mate in Milwaukee, Jonathan Lucroy, steps in. Estrada's a great family man, 2 kids. Talks about his wife, his kids a lot, spends a lot of time with them. He's not one of those guys that is rattled by this newfound fame. And he gives a lot of credit to his mother, Sylvia, who came from Mexico with Marco. She cleaned houses, she worked odd jobs, and she made him play baseball so he wouldn't get in trouble. And when he wanted to stop playing baseball, because he kept getting hit by pitches all the time, she said, go back out there, you're going to play something, and baseball was the sport.
Work on your changeup. There it is.
Yeah. And he strikes out Lucroy.
Masterful performance.
2 outs in the inning. 4 outs away from a shutout. By the way, the NBA is back on TNT. Coverage begins October 25th, 6 p.m. Eastern, live from Cleveland.
Rangers haven't had a guy to get to second base yet.
Had an infield hit by Beltre in the 2nd when Estrada didn't cover the bag. A single in the 6th from Andrews. He was cut down on a caught stealing, and then a double play wiped out a Beltran single in the 7th. A 3-hit shutout thus far for Marco Estrada. Mitch Moreland with 2 away.
I mean, he just makes it look so easy. The effortless fastball. 87, 88, upstairs you saw right there. Painted Chu once with a fastball down and away, but for the most part, a 2-pitch pitcher, right? Maybe a cutter here and there, a little overhand curve, not many.
That bounces in.
Heck, would you agree that late in the game, sometimes if a guy's getting a little tired, the tendency is one to throw harder and kind of get out of sync? This guy, he goes softer.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think he really ever gets that tired. I mean, you got to wait him out sometimes because he'll run the count full, but with a 5-run lead, he started going, he went after people.
1-2 pitch on the way to Moreland, and a swing and a high fly ball, routine center field, Pilar. And can Marco Estrada finish this one? Will they let him finish this one? He has been on his A game today in game 1 of the ALDS. Marco Estrada, a shutout through 8. Let's take a look at today's playmakers presented by the all-new Chrysler Pacifica. And Joe, how about the day for Josh Donaldson?
Biggest swing of the day right there, in my opinion. 110 miles an hour exit speed off the bat. That drove in a run. He's had 2 hits since then to drive in runs. What a day. His first career 3-hit day in the postseason.
3 for 3, 2 doubles, both hustle doubles, sliding in just before the tag. And Donaldson, who faces Jake Diekman out of the Rangers bullpen, becomes the 3rd reliever used. And if you're Jeff Bannister, Cole Hamels taken out in the 4th inning, and you can get to the finish line with only 3 relievers, you're in pretty good shape for tomorrow's game 2, which will be a quick turnaround. That is a noon local start here in Arlington.
Claudio really saved their bullpen, 4 2/3.
That's the story right there. And in that position, Eck, it doesn't look like Estrada's coming out. Why would he? There's a base hit.
He's right.
Center field. Donaldson with a 4-hit game in game 1 of this ALDS.
He's used the whole ballpark, hasn't he? I mean, right, center, left, you name it. What a day for Donaldson.
We see home runs on StatCast all the time with exit speeds for homers, 105, 108, 110. He hit a line drive to 3rd at 110 today that, as good a player as Beltre is, he couldn't catch. And that would have ended the inning that eventually turned into 5 runs.
Donaldson with the first 4-hit game by a Blue Jay in the postseason since Dennis Eckersley nemesis Roberto Alomar did it. That was in the 93. What a groan. There was a base hit by Encarnacion. A single to right, back-to-back hits off Diekman.
What a great player he was, huh?
That was in the 93 World Series. He had a 4-hit game against the Philadelphia Phillies, and of course that was the famous Joe Carter home run to win the World Series. Blue Jays have had exactly 2 walk-off wins in the postseason, Joe Carter and Edwin Encarnacion.
Been trying to get back ever since, right? Since 93. It's been a long time.
Yeah, now back-to-back seasons in the postseason for the first time since that 92-93 season. That was a great scene back then. And your A's went in there and saw that firsthand when Rogers Center, then Skydome, really jumped into the baseball landscape.
I knew how loud that place was in '89 when they first built it. They started after the All-Star game, I think, in '89. That was so loud. We went to the playoffs that year in '89, and that place, I'll tell you, you don't forget playing there. I mean, you're nervous enough when you take the mound, but it's amazing what the crowd can do to you. It almost makes you, it all comes to the middle of the mound. The Metrodome used to be like that a little bit, so loud. It almost make you shake.
I think Toronto, I think the Blue Jays were 3rd in attendance overall.
Led the American League.
Yeah.
Great crowds. They were live wire, and we are very much looking forward to get to Toronto.
You see Estrada in the dugout with a softball. Did you see that? You see sometimes a guy has a split finger, always has a big softball like that to keep using it to spread your fingers. But he doesn't throw a split finger. I wonder what that's all about.
Well, Estrada in a posture in the dugout to tell you he is certainly coming out for the 9th. He has a chance at a complete game. There's a softball he's holding. Contreras is the guy I'm thinking of that used to work with the softball in the bullpen as Bautista sends one to left, and there she goes. Jose Bautista strikes again. 3-run home run for the Blue Jays. Bautista's 2nd of the postseason and opens this one up to a 10-0 lead.
And a quick jump out of the box to run the bases too, fellas.
I'll tell you what, they put a hurting on them right now in a hurry. 3 hits in a row. Exclamation mark with the bomb here by Bautista. Fastball that he does some work on. opens his hips, and that ball's crushed.
No doubter to left field, and yet another 3-run home run in this postseason, the third that we have seen. Encarnacion and Gillespie with the others.
I know the game's getting out of hand from the Texas standpoint, but this is a guy who stumbled to the finish line himself in Diekman, and the Rangers, if they're going to win this series, they need him to be good in a setup role, and this is not a good outing today.
Made a trade for him last year with the Phillies, gave up a lot of prospects.
He came over with Hamels, didn't he?
He did.
Crowd is cheering. The home run ball is being requested to be thrown back. A Wrigley Field tradition, and it was thrown back, and it was thrown all the way back to Elvis Andrews at short. Unlike the bleacher creatures at Wrigley Field, I doubt Rangers fans brought a backup baseball to throw back. So that one's not good enough. Russell Martin, nobody out, 3 runs are in.
You know, the thing with Diekman is his control. I mean, he throws so hard, mid-90s, but he can't really find it. Everybody's looking dead red off him. One of the few changeups you'll see him. But you're right, Joe. I mean, they're going to need this guy.
Diekman giving up 3 straight hits, 2 singles in the home run. And 2-2 the count on Russell Martin. Well, we're looking at a couple of notes now for the Blue Jays. First, the 10 runs sends us to the record books in Blue Jays history. There's a swing and a miss. Martin strikes out. And the first out of the inning. It's a strikeout for Diekman. Bautista's 3-run homer gives them 10. First time they've scored that many runs since 2015. Last year they had an 11-run game against Kansas City. However, it is tied for the 3rd most runs scored in a postseason game. And back to that 93 team, they scored 15 runs in a World Series game. Game 4 against the Phillies that year.
The Phillies probably scored 12. Wasn't that a big one? Man? Outrageous World Series game.
There's a soft liner into center field for Troy Tulowitzki. And his 3rd hit of the ball game. The 4th hit allowed by Diekman. And the Blue Jays keep banging away against the Rangers.
There's something else too, and that was the season series head-to-head. The Toronto Blue Jays won the season series 4-3, but all 3 wins by Texas were by 1 run. And Toronto outscored them in those 7 games 36-21.
That plays right to the run differential, doesn't it?
It does.
Pop up into foul territory. Pilar's already walking back to the dugout, and Beltre makes a catch for the 2nd out. Marco Estrada poised to finish this one today. Marco Estrada has never finished a game. He's never had a complete game. Longest was 8 2/3. He did that last year as a member of the Blue Jays. He's pitched 8 or more innings a number of times, but he's never had a finisher.
He had a no-hitter going against the Red Sox this year earlier into the 8th inning.
How many pitches for him?
He is sitting at 93, I believe. 95, correction.
He's in good shape.
Saw the shutout in a complete game from Madison Bumgarner last night. And this is a Bumgarner type performance.
Absolutely.
Without all of the notoriety that Bumgarner brings as one of the game's great pitchers. Jay Happ will get the ball tomorrow.
Tough act to follow.
Happ, a 20-game winner this season, one of the 3 in the major leagues to win 20. Yeah, that look tells it all for Rangers fans. It's been that kind of day for him. Upton as it skips away from Lucroy. 3 balls and a strike. Jeff Bannister has to be pleased with his bullpen work up to this point, but he was able to get good innings out of Claudio, the left-hander, and then Barnett through a scoreless frame. Really, Claudio sets him up for tomorrow, going 3 2/3 innings in relief of Cole Hamels. As Upton takes ball 4, so Melvin Upton is on. The beat goes on for the Blue Jays in the 9th. And if you're Marco Estrada right now, you're very appreciative of all the runs, but I'm sure he's ready to get back on the mound.
Something else that I've found curious, the last couple of innings, and some class being shown, some professionalism, if you will, by the Blue Jays. A couple of balls in the dirt that should have gone as a wild pitch where the runners advanced. Neither Carrera or Tulowitzki in this case advanced. They just stuck around first base.
That's nice of him.
That's not something we hear much from these two teams. Nice. No. Unless it's in a sarcastic way. But that's a great point, Joe, because that kind of sets the tone. And it was downplayed, all of the action and activity prior to this game. It was downplayed heavily by the players, the managers, the coaches, and it's bearing itself out here on the field of play. And it would be easy for those guys without the bat of an eyelash to take second base on those 2 pitches in the dirt.
You know, if it's a runner at third and you're just going to stay at third, okay, I get it. But to just stick around first base, a little surprising.
Ezekiel Carrera in a 1-1 count. Diekman trying to fight his way through this inning. It has been a disaster for him. 4 hits and a walk, a 3-run homer by Bautista.
Well, they've got to feel good about you, Darvish, the way he's been throwing. He's throwing tomorrow.
Yeah, Darvish against Happ in game 2 tomorrow. Lucroy thought he had a strike. Looked good. Not called. Chad Fairchild's had a good strike zone today. Really only a couple of arguments, and that one certainly in our TBS strike zone had the plate. Jeff Bannister says that's our day. 2-2 on the way. Right back to the mound. Diekman will get out of the inning, but a 3-run home run by Bautista. His 13th postseason game. He's got 6 home runs, and now Estrada trying to finish this one in game 1. 10-0 Blue Jays in Arlington. All the beautiful shots from up above brought to you by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you got to get DirecTV. 10-0 Blue Jays. Now the story, the focus belongs to Marco Estrada, who is trying to finish a game in the big leagues for the first time in his career. Andrew sends one deep into left center field, and that ball is off the base of the wall. Andrews around second, on his way to third. It'll be a leadoff triple for the Rangers shortstop. And the first extra base hit of the game against Estrada.
Not surprisingly, they're swinging at the first pitch. They've done it a lot today. Had them eating out of his hand all day. Another high fastball here by Andrus, and he puts a charge into this ball. Hits the bottom of the wall and just sort of stays there.
And Estrada has been brilliant today. Not pleased with that. First time the Rangers have had a runner in scoring position today. Estrada had faced just one over the minimum until that triple. Remember, he had a single wiped out with a double play in the 7th, and then there was a strike him out, throw him out double play on a caught stealing that wiped out another hit. And there's that changeup, and this is going to get a run home. So Chu with an RBI. The Rangers are on the board in the postseason. First run allowed by Marco Estrada, and with the shutout lost, John Gibbons is going to make a pitching change.
You know what, guys? You sit in the dugout for a long stretch early in the ball game, that's one thing, but he had to sit there for a long time in the 9th.
Gibbons made an early call to the pen. Estrada said, "Let me stay."
Yeah, there's no sense of letting him stay out there, really. There's nothing to gain.
No, not now.
He's had some big games in his career. Even a few Rangers fans acknowledging that performance. Marco Estrada goes 8 1/3 with 1 run in game 1 of the ALDS.
What a game.
All right, guys, looking forward to that. And there's the man of the hour right there. Marco Estrada lifted after surrendering the run, goes 8 1/3. And still in Blue Jays history, Jack Morris stands alone as the only complete game. That was in a loss against Eckersley's A's in 1992. What a performance that was. And his last 2 postseason games coming right here in this ballpark. The first one being in an elimination game, game 3 last season, and this one the opener. So Eck, it's Ryan Tepera in for Toronto to try to close it out. Bases are empty. Carlos Gomez fouls the first pitch away.
Tepera had a nice job for them too. He's kind of a forgotten guy out there, but fastball cutter.
Throws hard too.
We started our broadcast today. Matt Weiner giving us the report on Roberto Osuna, the terrific Blue Jays closer. He had to leave the wild card game, felt stretching in his shoulder. He's been worked a lot. And Joe, this is an ideal scenario here for John Gibbons. Didn't have to use it, didn't have to get him up. Not even sure if they were planning on using him today. He gets another 24 hours and then we'll see how he goes tomorrow, because it will continue to be the headline for the Blue Jays.
Like you said, it'll be a quick turnaround, and I don't know what they based it on today. May have been just him playing catch to see how he felt, but not having to get him up is a big bonus for the Jays.
Gomez out to Tulowitzki, and the Blue Jays are an out away. And let's bring in Matt Weiner and that story with Osuna. They will enjoy this win, certainly, Matt, but that looms large for this series and any other series they advance to if that happens.
Absolutely. This was the perfect scenario, obviously, for John Gibbons, who hinted that Osuna should be available tomorrow. I guess we'll never know if he was to be available today. But keep in mind, he also blew 3 of his final 4 save chances down the stretch. Gibbons was not very specific about whether he thought that shoulder injury played a role in that. He suggested maybe all the bullpen had been stretched out a little too much. I guess we're about to find out at some point.
Well, you know, they leaned on him big time in the last week of the season, not just Osuna, but my thing is, how do you walk off the field as a pitcher and you're okay to be in the playoff series right after that? I mean, if I'm coming out of a game off the mound, I'm not going to be showing up anytime soon. At least that's how I thought. So he must be okay, because it was risky putting him on this roster.
And because of that, the Blue Jays added an 8th pitcher to their bullpen for coverage. 2 outs, 9th inning. Game 1 almost in the books, but Desmond sends one to left. And Upton is there. He'll make the catch, and the Toronto Blue Jays strike first in the American League Division Series. And Marco Estrada, the winning pitcher again in Arlington. A repeat performance from a season ago. Tulowitzki with the key hit, the 3 RBI triple. Josh Donaldson 4 for 4 today. Most hits by a Blue Jay since 1993 in a postseason in Roberto Alomar. What a performance today, Joe, from Toronto.
Well, they took advantage of every opportunity, every extra out. They put runs on the board. They took advantage of wild pitches, pass balls. They were the better team today by far.
They dropped a 5 spot on him, and now I'll tell you what, Estrada, that's all he needed. He was on cruise control. No walks, 6 punch outs. What a game.
And they will have Jay Happ set up for game 2. Game 3 will be Aaron Sanchez. And Marco Estrada gets the Blue Jays flying high in the first game of this ALDS. Back-to-back playoff wins for Toronto. This was on cruise control after what we saw on Tuesday night against Baltimore. And for the Rangers, they know they'll have to regroup. They will come back tomorrow quickly for that noon local start, and they'll have Yu Darvish on the mound. Cole Hamilton battles with his worst career postseason start. In his 16th career postseason start, surrendering 7 runs and 6 earned. A lot made of this rematch between the Blue Jays and the Rangers. So much leading into it. The bat flip, the dramatic home run, the Game 5 win, all of that. Toronto made it look easy today as we send it down to Matt with Marco Estrada.
All right, thank you, B.A. 8 1/3, just 1 run. How sharp did you feel today?
Yeah, obviously it was pretty good. I threw a lot of first pitch strikes, which always helps. But, you know, the guys came up big today. That offense exploded. I don't know if I've had a game with that many runs, so you got to take advantage of that. And, you know, I wasn't nitpicking or anything. I wanted the guys to swing, early contact. That way it'd keep me in the game a little longer, and that's basically what happened today. I wasn't aiming for the corners so much. I mean, obviously I still don't want to give up hits, but, you know, you try to locate, keep the ball down, elevate when you need to. And basically we're just trying to keep them off balance. So that's what we did, and obviously, you know, having that many runs, it makes it just a little not easier, because this game's extremely hard, but you know, for your peace of mind, it makes it a little better.
Felt like you could have gone all day. The changeup was devastating for them. Any argument about staying in for the last couple outs?
Yeah, I tried. I'm not really sure what my pitch count was at, but obviously I wanted to finish this game. I wanted it bad, but maybe my pitch count was high, I don't know. You know, he wants me to save the bullets. We got a long road ahead of us, so I can't wait to do it again.
You're 3-1 the last 2 postseasons now, a couple of elimination games you won. Start off this series with a win as well. Why do you think you've excelled in these situations?
I don't know, maybe because I don't let it get to me. I don't really think about it. I think about it just as a normal game. You know, you go out, you want to do your job and pitch deep into the game, and that's basically all I have in my mind. I don't put any extra pressure on myself. I just try to go out and pound the zone.
Congratulations. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
It was a 98-pitch gem for Marco Estrada, a guy who said he's gone internal the last few years to try to get the most out of his game, and he showed it very well here on a big stage.
Well, I guess the secret for is not think about it. How can you not think about it? You know, I tell you what, though, the pressure to me obviously is on the Rangers. And tomorrow, you, Darvish, you don't want to get, it's a 5-game series.
Sure.
You don't want to get 2 games down.
And they're facing a 20-game winner, and then there's Sanchez behind that, so there's a lot of hard work in front of the Rangers.
All right, round 2 between these 2 teams. Game 2 tomorrow. We'll be right back at it. Noon local, 1 Eastern. Our final score today, the Blue Jays 10-1 to the delight of their fans. Rangers fans just keep calm. Coming up after the break, we'll send you to our studio in Atlanta for Dennis Eckersley, Joe Simpson, Matt Weiner, Jeff Randolph, our producer, Lonnie Dale, our director, and the rest of our terrific crew. I'm Brian Anderson saying goodbye from Arlington, Texas. We'll see you tomorrow at 1 Eastern. You've been watching MLB on TBS, your home for the 2016 American League postseason. The Birds are flying high. The Blue Jays win Game 1.